Welcome back to our sixth panel titled Media Discourses in the European Union and the Eastern Partnership Countries, Two Different Perceptions of Threat. We will have three speakers and I will go by program order. The first one, Katarína from Technical University of Darmstadt, whose paper is titled European Eastern Partnership Relations in the Eyes of German Media. And then Liat Suladze, the core of the conference, one of the organizers, and from Center of Social Sciences. Discourses of Georgia pro and anti-European media on Georgia's Europeanization, and I think her presentation is a part of the book presented yesterday. And third presentation, Nino Janashia, whose presentation is titled Discourses of German Media on Georgia's Visa Liberalization. And Nino just started her PhD in sociology, and she has a background in philosophy, and this is her PhD part of the thesis. Katarína, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Okay, we need to switch it on. Sorry. Hello everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the CSS team for this invitation. I'm really glad to be here and to have the opportunity to talk to you. My name is Katarína and I'm a research fellow of the Technical University of Darmstadt in Germany, so I think there are not many Germans here, so I presented. And today I'd like to present some findings we made on media perceptions of EU relations with the 6 Eastern Partnership countries, consisting, as we know, of the near neighbors, the Republic of Moldova, Belarus and Ukraine, and the far neighbors such as Armenia, Azerbaijan, and of course Georgia. Basically, as you all know too, the Eastern Partnership is the European policy which aims to create a so-called ring of friends around the EU's border, as the EU itself called it in several papers. The research I want to present today is one step of our project that is focused on Germany's media perceptions of EU relations. Maybe I should. Of Germany's media perceptions of EU relations to the 6 Eastern Partnership countries. Therefore, we look at these relations from an EU internal perspective now. In Europe, in general, German media is highly relevant, as Germany, as well as France, of course, can be considered as one of the most influential countries in the European Union. The central research question we kept asking ourselves during the first part of our project time is, as you can see on the slide, how are the relations between the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries perceived in German media so far? Actually, as we all probably know, it is still not clear what the EU aims for by conducting the Eastern Neighbourhood Policy or Eastern Partnership. And we know, and this is written in a lot of EU documents, as I said at the beginning, that the EU plans a ring of friends around her border, and we know that there's this goal to develop privileged relations with the eastern and southern neighbors of the enlarged EU. But what exactly these privileged relations entail is still not clear. Furthermore, how the ENP process is managed, whether it's a whether it is a bilateral or a multilateral instrument or both isn't clearly defined, neither in EU documents nor in the academic literature. That's why it is interesting to see what picture the print media provides when talking about these relations. So my talk is divided into 4 parts. First, I will start with theoretical consideration based on Robert Entman's cascading theory, deconceptualized in 2003. In a next step, I want to present a selection of our category schema, which brings together theory and the model of analysis of our research. And finally, I would like to show you our findings from the media analysis, which is summarized in the conclusion in the end. So, theoretical consideration. The underlying epistemological approach of understanding the interactions between the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries is informed by constructivism. Constructivism is based upon the idea that reality is socially constructed through discursive power, as Natalia Chaban and Martin Holland noted, and Martin Holland, I'm sorry, he's English, in French. Martin Holland noted, and that therefore international relations are a product of such human interactions in a social world. The power of knowledge, ideas, norms, and languages are crucial features as they shape and help to understand changes in world structure. Hence, the media is given an active role as it is a participant who contributes and influences foreign policy and shape the picture of foreign policy people have in their minds. Antman's cascading activation model illustrates this influential role of media as it shows how messages from the administration level spread down through different levels of communication via elites and media who frames these messages in certain ways to the public. The public can backwards influence the media, and other frames are moved up to the cascade, to the level of administration as a kind of feedback loop, if you want. The messages which are brought through the media count as crucial in influencing how the general public understands international relations. Media therefore function as an agenda setter, as we, I think, read a lot about it, and I think we will talk about it as well, and plays an important role in creating cognitive frames. Framing is about selection. To make specific aspects more salient in a communication text, they need to be selected, as Antman states, in such a way as to promote a particular problem definition, course interpretation, moral evaluation, and or treatment recommendations. So these are the functions of media perception we use for our research. International perceptions and expectations of actors can be evaluated through different kinds of sources, among others official documents, interviews, media, and surveys. As indicated earlier, the focus of this talk is on the role of media, with the awareness that the other aspects are of course also crucial, and that media only accounts as one part of international perceptions. Still, news media is considered to play a key role in identity formation of actors because of its ability to create specific views of the world. In our media analysis, we focused 4 German quality newspapers. First, the Süddeutsche Zeitung, and second, the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, which are the top 2 newspapers with the highest circulation in Germany. The business newspaper, so-called Handelsblatt, and the weekly magazine Spiegel, which is of great significance in Germany, but also in Europe, or in the European press landscape. The time periods of the article collection is around the Eastern Partnership Summits from launching 2009 up to 2015, as you can see it on the slide. Our category schema is divided into 3 parts. This is a selection, so it's not presented, not all, it presents not all of the 3 we looked at. So it's divided into 3 parts, as you can see it on the left. The functions of the media perception is based partly on Amman's theoretical framework we had beforehand. Then we have the operational questions in the middle. These questions we kept asking ourselves while coding the news. And on the right-hand side, you can see a selection of indicators to operationalize the categories. Regarding the first category, assessing visibility, I have chosen the total number of articles as well as the centrality of the specific EU relations. Centrality in this case means how often and therefore how strong the relation is mentioned in each article. The category problem definition and interpretation analyzes the frames of the media text and the actors who are acting within these frames. In the case here, we have chosen state actors only. The third and fourth categories aim at analyzing the interaction between the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries. On the one hand, I coded the way the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries interact in the articles, whether they do it in a cooperative or conflictive manner, for example. And on the other hand, there's the emotive appeal of the perceived relations, whether it is negative or positive or neutral. Okay, let's switch to the presentation of our findings of the analysis. First, it's about the volume of the coded articles. Proportionally, the year 2009, the launching of the Eastern Partnership has in all relations a constant number of presented articles in the German print media. EU-Ukraine relations is definitely the most striking, as you can see. Especially year 2013 offers lots of articles which are linked with Yanukovych's decree not to sign the association agreement. And the relation between the EU and Georgia is in the second place and constantly represented over the years. When it comes to the degree of centrality, Armenia and Moldova are very different in proportion to their volume. Armenia has a lot of major articles and Moldova almost none. Okay, there's one, which has a high centrality. The dominant frames in all perceived relations are politics and economic business. Comparing to the other EU relations, Belarus is framed in a more normative way. Azerbaijan comes together with energy, for example. It's not a surprise when it comes to the mentioned state actors. Russia, as an international actor, plays a major role in all perceived EU relations in German media. Russia is followed by Germany and Poland. Okay, keeping in mind we look at German media, the picture would look different if we were looking at French media, for example. But that's the German. Yeah, that's it. So let's switch to the patterns of interaction, the heart of that presentation. The patterns of interaction between the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries we found in German print media is quite different. So when we compare the gray part of the bar graph with the colored part, we compare no interaction with interaction. So the colored one is interaction. That's another picture, which gives information about the interaction and no interaction. Striking is that between Armenia and the EU, there is almost no interaction in the German media, whereas the EU-Moldova interaction is quite strong, followed by Georgia and Ukraine. So the size of the bubble is the one. So it's the orientation. So let's get back to the interaction bar graph. When we compare the green part with the green part, which means cooperation, as you can see, with the red part, which is conflict, we get the following picture. EU-Ukraine relation is the most conflicted one, followed by Belarus. The EU relation to Moldova and Georgia is obviously very cooperative. Regarding the emotive appeal of the analyzed articles, the relation between the EU and Belarus is represented very negative, as you can see almost while EU-Moldova relation is the most positive, followed by Georgia. So, in conclusion, okay, this is another picture, as you can see, Moldova and Georgia on the positive side. In conclusion, the visibility of the perceived relations between the EU and each Eastern Partnership country differs widely. EU-Ukraine relations have the largest volume. Proportionally, Armenia has the highest degree of centrality and Moldova the lowest. In terms of problem definition and interpretation, the frames politics and economics are problemized the most in all relations. Russia, Germany and Poland are the strongest state actors within all perceived EU-Eastern Partnership relations. When we assess the patterns of interaction, the analysis of interactions between the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries shows asymmetric patterns of interaction, whereby EU-Moldova and EU-Georgia are perceived as the most cooperative and EU-Ukraine is perceived as the most confrontational relation. EU and Armenia interact least of all. EU-Moldova has the highest interaction rate, followed by EU-Georgia relation. In terms of moral evaluations, the relations between the EU and Eastern Partnership countries are characterized by a mix of moral evaluations with a strong negative tendency. EU-Belarus is perceived as the most negative and EU-Moldova as the most positive, again followed by EU-Georgia. Thank you.